Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 55. Our focus for today will be three things. One will be the vehicles we've been building for Bobinski. We will periodically check on their progress, and send them over as they are completed. By the end, only a couple of them will be left. The second thing will be the upgrade to the town distribution systems. I've been meaning to do this for about a dozen episodes now, but we've always been kind of busy to do it. Seeing the distribution offices sit empty in the cities tell me that they are overworked, so it was time to give them a helping hand. I will make a rookie mistake when we get to Mikaylovia, which will delay the project a little longer than necessary. The third main focus will be the rail junction at the town, trying to make it work a bit better, including the entrance and exit to the two freight stations for the consumer goods we will need for the local shops. Okay, let's check on those vehicles. First, I will fix the numbers we have in the queue. 4 covered hull trucks are more than enough, but it wouldn't hurt to have 4 more dumpers at our disposal. Next, let's fix the Mutagrad bus station. Even merging the 2 intersections into one didn't really give the desired result. It did help, but not quite enough. Time for something a bit more drastic. Once the traffic clears up, we can make some room to work with. There. The buses can still reach everything with the temporary dirt connections. It's a bit ugly, but it will be better than the old system. Next, let's start upgrading Mutagrad's internal distribution network. We only need to add a bigger office, which will take over for the small one's responsibilities. The original office's parking lot is perpetually empty. If the trucks have no downtime, then they are most likely just barely managing to keep the shop stocked. We can also start building the Penkovsk rail branch. At this point, that's the only thing left to deal with. In hindsight, I might have been better off starting construction on the new city's tracks, but Penkovsk will have to be dealt with sooner or later anyway. With so many vehicles ready to go, we should start sending them over to Bobinski. Thankfully, this American excavator model fits perfectly well on the KAMAZ trucks. Next up, with the train tracks finished around Bobinski, we can place the signals. The same as usual. Chain signals for entering junctions, regular signals for exiting. Let's keep this crossing around for now, we still need it for the tracks going to the new city. This one, however, can go. Alright, the new station intersection is done. Let's give priority to the road coming in from the old border outpost, and to the bus station itself, since those two are the busiest roads in this place. Give it a bit of time, and things will start clearing up. Let's clean up this place so we will have a clean slate to work on. Also, let's have only one bridge going over the main line. We can minimize traffic in the new junction if we don't have too many rails crossing each other. Although I am fairly certain it wouldn't have been a big issue, it's still a good idea in principle, so thanks for pointing it out. Okay, that's the new main line curve we need to connect up to. Nope, wrong way. This is the incoming side of things, so it needs to curve into the arriving direction. A bit of a tight curve going up a relatively steep hill, but I think I'll allow it. The other side is much easier, just a simple junction splitting off the main line. And that's it for the incoming tracks. Now, let's add something that will look like a third lane. This will be where we deal with the cargo stations. Yay, the new Mutagrad distribution office is finished. Let's start setting it up. Okay, the assignments are copied over. We can start telling the trucks to head over to their new home. Don't worry, I will discover the new batch reassignment button later in the episode. Now that we have more space available to us, we can make more of these small cargo trucks. They are fast and can hold a decent amount of goods, so they will do nicely. Let's put them to the front of the queue, because we need them kind of urgently. The new office is right in front of the road cargo station, connected straight to the warehouse. We will be better served if we tell the office to treat it as the pickup point, instead of the warehouse itself. It was used to drop off goods back in the days of road-based transport. Now it has a new glorious purpose. Let's keep sending vehicles over to Bobinski. Okay, let's keep working on this mess of junctions. The outgoing tracks will be the mirror opposite of the incoming tracks. The ground level connection will curve into the leaving side of the main line, while the one going over it will gently sidle into it. I cannot believe I managed to guesstimate the correct height for the bridge the first time. Alright, the main junctions are in. Next we need to deal with the cargo stations. I want them to be reachable from multiple directions, including the shortcut from the direction of Bobinski, which is a much shorter trip, compared to going around on the cross-country line. It's still not quite done. I think I can add 1 or 2 extra lane switches to make the cargo station work a bit better, but it's getting there. Nice, the extra town distribution trucks are done. Let's send them to Mutagrad. It seems we have room for 3 more. Might as well order them now. Okay, this will be a bit tedious, but if you've seen my videos before, you know I like to have the vehicles in my offices nice and organized. At least in the info window, I cannot control where they park. But apart from that, the idea behind this reorganization is mainly to have the mechanisms that require an open hull truck to be moved around to be in the same CO, while the ones that can get around on their own to be in the other. The pavers are separated in the list. Let's fix that. Alright, that has the machinery nice and organized. I cannot wait for myself to finally discover that batch reassign button. Anyways, we have 12 slots available in the machinery CO. We have 8 of the heavy-duty trucks being built in AutoZov, which means we can send over 4 of the regular CAMAZ trucks to fill in the slots. We only really need those big boys for the bulldozers, the old ones can still move the rest of the machines just fine. Which reminds me, we might want to order a couple more of them. We have these new bulldozers all over the Republic, and the current trucks cannot really move them. Well, what could that new button be? Oh my, it seems we didn't need to do so many clicks. If all the trucks go to the same place, we can just send them all together with one click. Anyways, with 9 trucks working in the new bigger office, we have 1 sitting idle. We had enough work to do for 3 more. And we have some chemical deliveries to look forward to, once the local water treatment plants start working. Oh, and the new bus station intersections seem to be working as intended. No more tailbacks from any direction. Remember when I said that I will make a rookie mistake in the intro? Well, here it comes. As you can see, instead of trying to place a big distribution office, I am placing a small one. Yeah, my attention was slipping. But in the end, everything will work out fine. So, let's just suffer through this mistake together. We might as well order the trucks now. Once we realize the error, we will need 7 more in total. We can speed things up with the Penkovsk branch by adding these 4 signals. This will allow the track layers to work on the majority of it in parallel. With this setup, the only place they will need to share is the crossing. The rest they can work without interference. Although the biggest obstacle is the fact that we are building these tracks electrified from the start, so it's going to take a while, thanks to the constant back and forth the track layers need to do. I almost forgot to rebuild these chemical factories. They now require a dedicated water connection. Okay, let's connect things back up. We have 2 warehouses for the finished product. 2 lumber yards for the wood. The grain silos will be a bit tricky. It seems the slightly different placement of the chemical plants will interfere with the factory connections. Not quite. Well, if we cannot fit the connection because of the road, then we can move the road itself. Okay, that takes care of the crops. The aggregate belts were pretty straightforward. Now, please excuse me while I fail to realize the difference between overground and underground pipes. There we go. So much easier if you select the correct tool. And that's that. All 4 materials are accessible once more. Alright. I still haven't realized the error. Looking at the footage, I have no idea how I didn't see it earlier. There are disadvantages to being too familiar with the game. I guess I was going on autopilot so much, that I was just going through the motions, instead of paying attention to the details. Yeah, I even went as far as adding fuel deliveries to the new place. Holy moly, this is painful to watch. And the penny finally drops. It was such an unbelievably stupid mistake, and the fact that I only noticed now, only added to the shame of it. Well, now that I know what the issue is, let's try again. It seems the bigger version won't fit into this little hole we smoothed out. If we move the road maintenance depot, however, we might have a chance of doing it a little bit differently. Yep, we will have plenty of room where the 2 current buildings sit. We only need to move the maintenance depot over. As for the distribution office, we will need to build a temporary one, until the proper one is built. We still need to keep delivering food to the shops, so let's place that temporary DO. This little dead end will do just fine for this. To speed things up, I maxed out the number of workers who can walk into the construction site from the street. No need to wait for the buses to have as many people working as possible. It seems the second bus station in Mutagrad is also struggling. Well, nothing a couple signs cannot fix. Yeah, I got distracted, and I placed signs everywhere, except where it was needed. Don't worry, I'll reach that part soon. Okay, the temporary DO is done. Let's set up the assignments, send over the trucks, and start building the proper distribution office in the place of the old one. Yeah, I'm still getting used to having that mass reassign button. There we go. That's the correct building. Now that I have done everything, except what I needed to do, let's place signs for the bus station too. Although it seems placing those signs around the surrounding intersections also helped clear up the traffic quite a bit. We have a few of the beefy trucks ready to go. We can send them to Bobinski, making sure to send them to the correct office, where they can pick up the heavier machinery. Well, no point delaying any longer. Let's do our duty, and work on the water systems a bit more. I will super fast forward through this part. It's only a couple water storage tanks next to the cities, and the sewage collectors. Thankfully, I didn't forget to add the water substations I missed in the last episode. Well, let's leave it at that for now. Hopefully, that takes care of the water and sewage substations. As for the storage tanks, I am still not sure how to distribute it to the surrounding industrial zones. Maybe I will use direct connections from the storages, or have local filling stations, and leave the distribution to the trucks. I will need to think about this one. For now, let's focus on finishing the Mikaylovia distribution office, so we can close out this shameful chapter. By the way, have you guys seen those new ramshackle buildings made specifically for the official cosmonaut mode? The devs showed them off in the latest developer diary. They will be the perfect alternative to those temporary construction offices we keep building, just to use for terrain manipulation in remote areas. Cannot wait. I have a feeling we would be done with this branch by now, if only we built it in phases like usual. We can speed things up if we increase the number of workers who can walk in from the street, and if we add a temporary footpath connection, so more people can reach the site from the city center. And it's done. Let's set things up, and put this embarrassing chapter behind us. Hey, I remembered that the batch reassign tool exists. We are making progress. We have a new graphical glitch. This tower crane isn't supposed to be hovering over the new DO as far as I know. Well, we just managed to start producing the trucks for that new office. Oh well, the current stable can manage, but it will be nice to have them in the near future. We might as well set up the source of materials for these construction offices. Well, it seems we have a bit more reorganization to do, so the trucks are also grouped together in the second CO. At this point, only dumpers will go in that office, so we can put the ones already there at the end of the list. To help with the construction of the water facilities, I will now go over the Republic, and blindly do CO assignments over the different areas, making sure everything gets built. There are places where the bus offices cannot auto-assign themselves, and there are footpaths that are too short for machinery to work on them. So by doing this, I ensure that everything gets done. And here I just realized that I haven't tested the new overlays yet. Let's take a look at the different goods and service informations in our cities. Obviously, alcohol and religion will not be accessible anywhere whatsoever, but everything else is a nice satisfying shade of green. Since the latest housing boom, the overall population has been on the decline. I guess the population gets a bit optimistic, and when they realize that the good times are over, they start having fewer babies overall. Although we still have a healthy number of people waiting for houses, so we are far from having a crisis. Let's fix this bugged out driveway. At this point, we should be ready to start delivering the materials. Here, I got spooked by this error message, saying that automatic drop-offs are not supported for stations with conveyor engine towers. I thought we will need to move the aggregate unloading station in the next episode, but after I stopped the recording, it turned out to be just fine. I guess it will just keep it topped up at 100%, instead of the 80% we set, which is a-okay with me. So just disregard that needs fixing label I put on it. There is nothing that needs fixing. Anyways, let's see what's going to happen in the next episode. On the water side of things, we will need to start setting up the extraction and treatment. As you might have noticed, the storage facilities were placed on the side of mountains. So, we can place the water wells on the top, have the treatment facilities a bit further down, and have it trickle into the tanks further down. At least that's the plan. All for minimizing the number of pumps that we will need to add into the system. Let's hope it works out. As for the workers, I plan on using cable cars for that. And if we plan it out properly, we could use the same cableways to deliver the chemicals to the treatment plants. We will need to do this carefully. Next, we will need to add some kind of temporary arrangement for workers in Bobinski. I will most definitely use the new city for that in the future, but until that's sorted, we need to rely on Mikaylovia for the asphalt and concrete plant staffing requirements. Also, after I stopped the recording, I did run into a snag with the trains delivering the materials. The distribution rail yard is using pretty big offices, and they allow the assembly of trains longer than 150 meters, which is bad news for our current network. As the first thing, we will need to set up length restrictions for them. And once all that is sorted, we can at long last start working on building our new city. About time. Anyways, I hope you liked the video. If you did, you can support me on Ko-fi, for which you can find a link in the description. If you are not the donating type, that is fine too. You can still support me by leaving a like, or subscribing to the channel, which just might motivate me to make more. Until then, see you later.